Hello, everyone. Welcome to an inside yoga class for beginners. So, if you have never done yoga before, you have come to the right place. We will start in a standing position, and while we do some yoga, I'll introduce you to the inside yoga style. So, first of all, you can just lift up your arms. And if your arms are like this, that's good. And your arms want to be close to the head. If your arms are close to the head and your hands look like this, you do an outer rotation in your upper arms. Nice. Now slowly dive down into a forward fold, and you can have your knees bent. Nice. Perfect. So relax your head. To know if you relax your head, you can lift up your head and then just let go of your head. And then you know if your head is relaxed. Slowly roll up and lift up your head last. Yoga is a very auditive form of exercise, so make sure that you do not stare at the display all the time. I do my best to be in a podcast quality yoga class. Bring your hands to Namaste, and then lift up your arms again. Same. Arms up. Outer rotation in the arms, and the hands look like this. Now you know what an outer rotation is. Great. Lift up the shoulders to the ears. Inhale. And slowly exhale, dive down into a forward fold. Again, check if your head is relaxed by moving the head a little bit. And then slowly roll up. Lift up your head last. And now you can outer rotate your arms again. And if they look like this, you do everything perfectly fine. Namaste. One last time, arms up, inhale, shoulders up, outer rotation in the arms, lift your shoulders up, inhale, exhale, dive into your forward fold. Here, if you bend over, if you relax your shoulders, they will move towards your ears because gravity pulls them towards the earth. Now slowly roll up again. You can outer rotate your arms and bring your hands to Namaste. Okay. Now lift up your arms and lean over to your right side. Lean over to your right side. If you lean over to your right side, you can relax your right arm, so you look like this. You can shift your weight over to the left foot a little bit. As long as you feel a stretch on the side of your body, you're fine. And that is what yoga practice is all about. Feeling your body so that you create awareness. And creating awareness is the most important thing in any yoga practice. This is like already one of the highest forms of basically spirituality, you could say. So slowly come back, and with an awareness, lift up your right arm and lean over to the left. Okay. As long as you feel your body, this feeling can anchor you to the presence. And this, again, is a great chance to cultivate awareness. So you can shift your weight over to the right foot in order to create a stronger sensation on the side of your body. And then slowly inhale, come back to center, and relax your arms. So you can lean forward and back and center your center of gravity. So it's like right above the arc of your foot, and then lift up your arms. Outer rotate your arms, shoulders up, chin a little bit higher up. Inhale, Utkatasana, which is the Sanskrit word for forward fold. Yeah. Now, slowly roll up, outer rotate your arms. Namaste. We are going to repeat what we've just done. So, inhale, lift your arms up. And now, lean over to the right again, same. So you can relax your right arm, and you shift your weight over to the left foot. And now the upper arm can slowly go by your face and you come back to Tadasana. Tadasana is the pose for just standing in an upward pose. Lift up your arms, inhale, and lean over to the left, and you can shift your weight over to the right foot. As long as you feel your body, you're already very aware and spiritual, one could say. And then you can come back to Tadasana. So lift up your arms, inhale. One more time, come to Uttanasana, forward fold. Relax your head, relax your shoulders, and then slowly roll up. In yoga, we want to create often some sort of more extreme poses so that we can feel our own center, okay? Physically, but also mentally. To do this, very often, the position of your hip is very important. So bend your knees, grab your hip, and go like this. So if you arch your lower back and your belly is long, this is called an anterior tilt in your pelvis. Right now, you're anterior tilting your pelvis. If you do the opposite, if the butt becomes more flat and the hip tilts backwards, is called posterior tilt. So anterior tilt and posterior tilt. This is something that's really important in yoga. Anterior tilt and posterior tilt. As you are practicing this online yoga video, I bet you're doing it alone, so it cannot be embarrassing. Posterior tilt, anterior tilt, just try it. And in the world, as in yoga, there should be no reason to feel ashamed anyway. Posterior tilt, anterior tilt, yeah, posterior tilt. Perfect. Stand normally. Again, arms up. And now, namaste. For the next pose, practice Utkatasana. So you can bend your knees, shift the weight towards the heels, create one long line between crown of the head and bottom of your spine, basically, and align the arms along the upper body. And in this pose, you can rather anterior tilt your pelvis. Don't be this person, be that person. So an anterior tilt in Utkatasana. Slowly come back to Namaste. Let's put all of this together. Come to mountain pose. And dive down to Uttanasana. Here, bend your knees slightly and anterior tilt your pelvis. If you anterior tilt your pelvis, and you can maybe you can see me doing it right now. So I will anterior tilt right now. So you can see a little movement in my hip, but I feel it strongly in my hamstrings. So now relax your pelvis, slowly come to Utkatasana. So you bend your knees, align your body, and again you anterior tilt, and come to Namaste. Nice. Arms up, inhale. Uttanasana. Stay here, relax your head, but anterior tilt your pelvis so that you can actively work on your hamstrings. Bend your knees and come to Utkatasana. So you can shift your weight onto your heels and focus on basically you want to work on your disposition. So if you have a feeling that, for example, your arms are like this, then just push the arms back. And if you get a cramp on your back, maybe I got it too, I'm just not showing it. So come to Namaste. Nice. Bring your hands to Namaste. Micro bend your knees. anterior tilt your pelvis just a little bit, lean forward, and lift up the heels. So I'm going to tell you the first attribute of inside yoga, and one specificity about inside yoga that it is physically challenging. So inside yoga, this yoga style that you're practicing, is rather physically challenging than a very meditative style of yoga. So as you progress in inside yoga, you will sweat a lot, which again will improve your physicality, your physical essence, as well as your mental essence. Stay here, lift up your arms, and now you can challenge yourself and feel how far you can lift up the heels. If you can, lift up the shoulders. If you can, lift up your chin, and then slowly dive down to Uttanasana. Again, as for me, as for you, there is no shame, right? Come to Uttanasana. Bend your knees a little bit. Anterior tilt your pelvis so you can feel your hamstrings. And now, keep your anterior tilt and come halfway up. This is called a flat back pose, or in Sanskrit, it can be called Ardha Uttanasana, which is called half Uttanasana. And then slowly come back to Uttanasana, to your forward fold. Slowly come to Utkatasana, or chair pose. And then come to Namaste. Nice. You can lean back and forward. Back and forward. Bring your hands to Namaste and lift up your heels again. Second attribute of inside yoga is it's a open style of yoga. It's a progressive style of yoga. So there is no system. Every class is different. There is no sequence of 26 poses that you have to repeat over and over again. It's a very progressive style where every teacher, just like me, can express their own conviction of what it means to teach physical, focused yoga. Lift up your arms. Uttanasana, heels down, forward fold. Bend your knees, anterior tilt your pelvis. Now keep the anterior tilt. Halfway up, come to Ardha Uttanasana, come to a flat back pose. And then again, come down to Uttanasana. Bend your knees, Utkatasana. And if you want to challenge yourself, bring your hands to Namaste. Now only lean forward and then lift up the heels. Just a little bit, just a centimeter. Your gaze is steady. And the more you lift up the heels, the more challenging it will become. Now put your heels down, stand up, Namaste. Arms up, inhale. Now here you can interlace your thumbs and you can spread your fingers. Some people call this Garuda Mudra. It's just an eagle mudra, hands, seal. Then lean over to the right. Come back to center. To practice with perfect symmetry, switch the interlacing of your thumbs and lean over to the left. Come back to center, bring the hands down, and then to Namaste. Lean forward, micro bend your knees. As you can probably guess, lift up your heels. A third specificity, attribute of inside yoga is this yoga style is founded by Young-Ho Kim in Germany, but we don't have a guru system, and we believe more in evolution than in tradition. So the style is called Inside Yoga because we believe that the biggest yoga can be found inside yourself. So you can be your own best teacher. And that's why it is not a guru-focused system where we, I don't know, travel to follow one person. But it's a very open, progressive, and modern style, as kind of like as these times are. Lift up your arms. If you want, lift up your heels higher. Uttanasana, forward fold. Bend your knees again. Anterior tilt your pelvis. You feel your hamstrings again and again. And then come to Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. If you see some yoga videos, a flat back pose doesn't mean your fingers have to touch the mat and then you try your best to like flatten your back. It means that you feel into your pelvis and now you create a straight line out of that form. As you may see, I'm not the most flexible person in my hamstrings, so for me it's totally okay to not touch the mat anymore and come a little bit higher and even arch my back if I want to create a form that suits me, that suits my anatomy right now. Forward fold, exhale. Bend your knees, come to Utkatasana. And namaste. All right, now we want to focus on a balanced pose, and patience is key. All right, bend your knees, anterior tilt your pelvis a little bit, and just scoot your butt back a little bit. Imagine you want to, like 10%, you want to like sit down on a chair, but then you just stop. Shift your weight over to the left. Only lift up the right heel. Okay, now your focus is steady. You just look forward so your eyes can get a sense of how gravity flows from the heaven to the earth. You have shifted your weight over to the left. You have lifted up the right heel. You have lifted up the right pelvis. And then you can interlace your fingers. While you just watch and look forward, you can slowly grab the knee and stay here and focus. And your toes, they kind of hold your balance. You want to know that your bottom foot is an area at which above your center of gravity resides. Stay here, but lift up your arms. And then slowly, if you want, you can put the toes down, the ball of the foot down, the heel down, and then shift your weight over to the other foot. Nice. Left heel up. Bend your standing leg, butt back. Interlace your fingers, hip up. Slowly grab your left knee. And actually, it doesn't matter if you hold this pose or not. As long as you do your best, then you're perfect, right? So it doesn't matter if you like do it 2 times, fall or not. It doesn't matter. As long as you do your best, then you're perfect. And perfect is good, right? So if you want, lift up your arms. And just come back to Tadasana. Pointed toes, ball of the foot, heel down, stay centered. Nice. Okay. Now, remember this anterior tilt and posterior tilt. Let's do it one more time. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. Anterior tilt, posterior tilt. Okay. So, shift your weight over to the left. Right heel up, ball of the foot up. Right knee and the arms up. And now you can posterior tilt your pelvis, and then you can lift up the knee higher. Nice, right? And then slowly come back to a lunge pose. The arms are the counterweight to your leg, and then you can come back to a lunge pose. The feet are hip width distance apart, and then shift your weight, all your weight onto your feet, and come to a high lunge pose. Now, bend the back knee, posterior tilt the pelvis. And if you do that, you can feel your hip flexor. Keep it like that and straighten the back knee. So you feel a really strong stretch here, which is good because when we sit, the hip flexor degrades into a very short muscle and we want to stretch it. So you stay here. We can combine everything. You do a Garuda Mudra and bring your arms back. And let the Garuda Mudra, the seal in your hands, be a symbol for a airy, a flying journey, a flying yoga journey be, because you never know where this class might lead to. Maybe a teacher training, maybe a journey on many, many more yoga classes. Step forward to forward fold. Relax your head and then slowly roll up and bring your hands to Namaste. Good job. So lift up your arms and lean over to the right and stretch the left side of your body again. The upper arm, the left arm passes your head. Come back to Tadasana. Arms up, inhale. Lean over to the left. And the right arm passes your head and relax. Bring your hands to Namaste. Microbend your knees. Shift your butt back a little bit. Lean forward and lift up the heels. Okay, one more thing about inside yoga. It's very, very alignment heavy. You will never hear from inside yoga teachers the phrase, find your alignment. No, it's our duty to tell you what's good for your body, to tell you the alignment. You will never hear from us the phrase, find your alignment. We will tell you, if you, for example, posterior tilt your pelvis in high lunge, you will feel your hip flexor, and a stretched out hip flexor is good for everyday life. Heels down. You're at the front of your mat. Lift up the left knee. Up. The arms are the counterweight to your leg. So arms forward, left leg back. And then slowly put the foot back. And then just make sure that in lunge pose, the feet, I always say they drive in different lanes so that you have a safe stance. So the feet are hip width distance apart and you come up to a high lunge. What can happen is that that your hip is not centered or like square. So, and as I cannot see you, the best method to fix this is grab your own hip and now do a little salsa. And then if your hip goes down and up, you can find the perfect spot where both hip bones here, they have the same height and they have the same distance to the front of your mat. Lift up the arms, bend the back knee, posterior tilt your pelvis so you can feel a stretch in your hip flexor. And then at the end, straighten the left knee so that you feel a really strong stretch. And as you know, a long hip flexor is always better than a short hip flexor. Okay, stay here. Inhale, and then step forward to the front of your mat into your Utkatasana. Bend the knee, anterior tilt your pelvis, bend the knees, and then come to Ardha Uttanasana, flat back, slowly forward fold to Uttanasana. Bend the knees again, come to Utkatasana. and then stand up. Namaste. Nice. All right. One more challenge for today. So, right knee up, arms up. Focus, focus. And now flex the foot and come to some people call this standing pigeon. I call it temple seat. Come to this pose, or figure 4 in English very often. So you bring your hands to Namaste, your gaze is fixed, and you can anterior tilt your pelvis. Now quiz, where do you feel your anterior pelvis in this figure 4 pose? Where do you feel it right now? Exactly right, in your butt, right? And hey, second thing for today, a longer butt is always better than a shorter butt. Right knee up, arms up, inhale. Namaste. And maybe you ask, why is that so? Left knee up, arms up. It's because your ischiatic nerve is very close to your butt muscle. And if your butt is very cramped together and is very tight, then it can touch, like put pressure on the nerve, and then you have back pain because the ischiatic nerve originates in the lower spine. So to counter that, in this figure 4 pose, anterior tilt your pelvis so you can feel your left butt cheek. Yes. As you see, I'm Asian, so I'm very good at a poker face, but I also feel it in my butt. I just don't show it. Yeah. All right, left knee up, arms up, and bring your hands to Namaste. Okay, to complete this physical practice, open up your arms to the side, and here you can do an outer rotation, inner rotation, outer rotation, and then interlace the fingers behind your back. Now just circle the shoulders and bring the shoulders back and just straighten the arms. Yeah. So if you have a tough time with straightening the arms in this pose, that's totally okay. If you have some sort of flexibility, make sure to bring the hands together. If you can, this is preferred to this. Because if you have your hands open like that, you never know the alignment. If you have the wrists touching, then you can feel your grasp better. So just relax your arms. Let's do it one more time. And if you have a hard time interlacing your hands, you can just interlace your forearms or grab your own wrist with your hands. That's totally okay. So hands behind your back. So keep your elbows bent, shoulders up and back, and then straighten your arms. And stretch your shoulders and possibly your chest muscles, your pecs, your pectoralis muscles. Okay, slowly release. Good job. Usually these kind of like stretches are very uncomfortable, so you're doing great. So come to a straddle pose. Bring the feet a little bit further apart. Especially if you have back pain, then folding in a straddle pose is preferred, as you have a lower possibility of stressing out the ischiatic nerve. Anyway, you are in a straddle pose. If you can reach the ground, that's great. If you use some yoga blocks or props or books or your sofa or your bed to just like hold, you can also use like a chair to hold yourself like this. That's totally fine. We will keep this picture clean. I'll just have my hands here on the ground. And you can anterior tilt your pelvis so that you can feel your hamstrings. Okay. Now, one thing about yoga is that you always do the right side and the left side. And now I want you to bend the left knee a little bit. Bend the left knee a little bit. Maybe your left foot turns outward so your foot and your knee look into the same direction. And just do a little asymmetric pose. So now there's a right side and a left side. An asymmetric pose is more challenging usually than a symmetric pose. So that is my cue to give you a compliment. Good job. Okay. Now, like a wild tiger, you can switch sides. So use your hands to alleviate stress on your knee and switch the side. And you can now feel the left leg. And if you watch my hands, if you have this pose with your hands, that's okay. If you are like this, that's okay. If you can be on your fingertips, it's okay. Kind of like hand position in this scenario right now is maybe like a seated position on your chair at the desk. The most important thing is that you switch it up so you don't have too much stress in your wrist. Okay, come to a straddle pose again, and you may feel a difference. You may be able to go a little bit deeper. Like being in a straddle and stretching can be also a practice of patience and also a practice of acceptance. Kind of like you have to accept the length of your muscles right now. All right. So slowly bring your feet together. And then come to a standing pose. Before we calm ourselves down in a more seated yoga practice, we will bring everything together and practice everything that we've learned so far. So come to the front of your mat. I'll be all the time at the front of the mat right now so you can see like the whole picture. And you can lift up your arms. Yeah. And then lean over to the right. And then have the left arm pass your head, come to Tadasana. Now, shift your weight to the left. Right knee up, arms up, inhale. Come to a figure 4 pose, standing pigeon where you feel your butt cheek. Lift up the right knee. This practice is called Vinyasa flow. And step back to a lunge pose. The arms are the counterweight to your leg. Slowly come up to a high lunge. You can posterior tilt your pelvis so that you can really feel your hip flexor. And then lean forward, step forward to Uttanasana. Inhale halfway up to Ardha Uttanasana. And then come back to Uttanasana. Chair pose, Utkatasana, inhale. And bring your hands to Namaste. Now we will do everything on the other side. Arms up, inhale. Lean over to the left. The right arm passes the head. Shift your weight to the right foot or keep it there. Left knee, arms up. Come to a figure 4, exhale. Knee up, arms up, inhale. And step back to lunge. High lunge, inhale. And posterior tilt your pelvis so you can feel your hip flexor. Step forward to Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. And namaste. One more time, a little bit faster. Arms up, inhale. Lean over to the right, come to Tadasana, so you just stand. Right knee up, arms up, inhale. Figure 4, exhale. Knee up, arms up. Step back to a low lunge. Your fingers graze the ground, high lunge, inhale. Step forward to Utkatasana. Halfway up, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Chair pose, inhale. Namaste, exhale. Left knee, arms up, inhale. Lean over to the left. Just stand, Tadasana, exhale. Keep your weight on the right foot. Left knee up, arms up. And step back. High lunge, inhale. And step forward to Uttanasana, exhale. Ardha, halfway up. Forward fold. Chair pose, inhale. And namaste. All right, good job, everyone. So slowly, just take a seat. You can sit down. So, can be that your knees are maybe up like this, or maybe sitting can be a little bit uncomfortable just because of anything really. So right now, if you have a yoga mat, you can like roll it up and then sit on it to create some height. So I would usually roll up a little bit more. Or you can just take a pillow. I mean, you're probably at home. There is a pillow very close to you, so you can just sit on the pillow. And most importantly, as I cannot see you right now personally, make sure that you don't have any pain. So then you're safe. So lengthen your spine by inhaling through the chest, and you can retract your head. So it's not like this, but you retract your head, and then lift up the arms and the shoulders. And now, instead of leaning towards the right, we rotate to the right. So the hand grabs the knee, and the right hand is very close to the hip, a common mistake, because if my hand is too much in the back, then as you can see, my spine is not vertical anymore. So the hand is rather close to the hip, and then I can bend both elbows, strongly inhale through the chest, and then exhale and twist to the right. Stay here, inhale through the chest, and exhale through the nose and look to the right. You can feel the compression that the rotation creates, but you stay here, you keep the compression basically, and you inhale, and then with your exhalation, you create a stronger twist. Now release and switch sides. So you can just lift up your arms, and then grab your knee, turn to the left, and you can bend the elbows, strongly inhale through the chest, and then exhale and turn and rotate to the left. So why do I say inhale through the chest? Because the rotational quality in your upper body is higher than in your lower upper body. So your thoracic spine can rotate better than the lumbar spine. Inhale and exhale. So one last time, strongly inhale through the nose and exhale. All right, and then relax. And today we are going to do a butterfly pose. So you can just bring your feet together. And you have basically two options. Usually, if people put their feet together, they are closer to the hip. And you can like bring the feet a little bit further forward, lean forward, and then usually you can like grab your butt cheeks and bring them a little bit further back so your hip is anterior tilted, and then you just lean forward. Yes. So in our teacher trainings, there are always three things that we say on the first day of our teacher training towards the inside yoga style. And one thing is that we honor tradition, but we believe in evolution. That's why we say that inside yogis are more scientists than spiritual leaders. So we are more as scientists than priests. And then the second thing is, and that is something that you haven't experienced in this class today, but you will in the future if you use our app or watch other videos, we believe in the power of music. So unlike many other yoga styles, we want the most wholesome yoga practice. And this includes emotion. And music is the easiest access to our emotional world. That's why we utilize the technology of modern music to create connections to our emotional world, to basically figure out ourselves, right? And to create a practice on the mat where we learn something for the life outside the mat. And the third thing I talked about already a little bit is that the greatest teacher is inside you, which is the concept of Mahaguru. Yeah. And if you dive a little bit into the world of inside yoga, you will see that the second point is especially lived in our class format Inside Flow, which is a whole nother dimension of yoga and a huge community of flowlicious people that just love to move through the practice of yoga. Anyway, slowly come back to a seated pose. And again, you can sit comfortable. And if you right now you could basically sit on your bed and lean against the wall or something like that. And you create the Garuda Mudra again, but this time you inverse it and put it on your heart. Close your eyes. And you can increase the length of your inhalation to 6 counts. So you count to 6 when you inhale, but you only count to 4 when you exhale. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep your own rhythm, but always inhale and count to 6, and exhale and count to 4, or do a little countdown just like I did. This is called solar breathing, and this is a little symbol or solar breathing is stimulating your sympathetical nervous system. And in this class, it is a metaphor for the eagle that you are, that can fly and start an unknown journey, which yoga can be for you. Bring your hands to Namaste. And while your hands are in prayer hands, you can say something in your mind and your heart that you wish for yourself. This is what praying is all about. It's formulating thoughts in our heart so that we can hear them in our mind. And now, just listen to your body. And this is what spirituality can also mean. It's not only saying and sending and formulating, but it can also be awareness, feeling, and listening. Then slowly finish your meditative sequence by inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining this class. My name is He. I'm a Inside Yoga and Inside Flow teacher for 15 years now. I've been a teacher trainer for like 12 years already. So Inside Yoga is my career for a long time. So I'm happy to share this practice with you on this platform. And if you want to support us and if you had some sort of benefit in this class, please like and subscribe this video and channel. And and I hope I see you in some other video, or you join the other teachers. And Inside Yoga, we are all dedicated teachers who basically live our life for the attributes that I pointed out in this video. So join us and be part of the community, and I hope I see you in the next one. Namaste.
If you like our style of teaching yoga, I would like to recommend our app. Because in this app, you will find a ton of amazing Inside Yoga style classes. Inside Yoga is a very modern yoga style that embraces evolution. We love science, we love anatomy, and we put it into our yoga class. The same is true for music. We love pop music, and we play music to make our classes more emotional. And then the last but most important thing is that in Inside Yoga, we believe that the biggest teacher is inside of everyone. And this is why we say, all you need is inside. Also, all you need is inside that app. So check it out.